With Pokemon Sword and Shield's release date getting closer every day, I know people are getting extremely eager to play these games. Especially with all the footage that's been shown in all the trailers so far, these games are just looking amazing. The Pokemon Company has done a really good job of keeping us on our toes with new trailers, screenshots, and of course, new Pokemon. One of my favorite aspects of a new Pokemon game is all of the new Pokemon that come with it, and that contributes a lot to whether I'll like a game or not. One of my favorite new Pokemon that's been introduced so far is Sirfetch'd. And if you know me at all, you know that farfetch'd is easily one of my favorite Pokemon. I can't explain why, it's my little buddy. So to see farfetch'd finally get an evolution was just honestly awesome. I think Sirfetch'd is a great expansion on farfetch'd's already amazing design, in my opinion. So I just cannot wait for this Pokemon. Seeing an older Pokemon that I love so much finally get an evolution in Sword and Shield has kind of raised my suspicion that we're going to get some more evolutions of older Pokemon in this game. So I started thinking of some new Pokemon that I feel deserve an evolution and would benefit from it and or just would look cool. So welcome to the top 5 new evolutions for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like I said, these are just some Pokemon that I feel deserve an evolution, and if you don't feel that way, that's cool, no harm, no foul. Just leave your list in the comments below, let me see what you're thinking. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. Of course, your support is greatly appreciated, and also, don't forget to subscribe for more Pokemon content. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's just jump right into number 5. Number 5 on this list is going to be Durant. Durant's a Pokemon that I've always just kind of been on the fence about. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of its design simply because it's just like a metal ant, and I don't know, that's just not that intriguing to me. However, I will say that I've used this Pokemon in battle quite a few times, and oh my god, it hits like a truck. A huge part of this Pokemon's power comes from its ability, Hustle, which gives you more power in exchange for accuracy of your moves. But if you pair this ability with the move Hone Claws, which increases your attack along with accuracy, you're set, honestly. So why would Durant need an evolution? Well, honestly, I think it's more design-based. There's just so much that can be done with this Pokemon because its design is simple. It's a metal ant. So I went out searching for the design of what a Durant evolution might look like, and I think I found a really good one. This design comes from DeviantArt user Del Galesio, and I think it works perfectly. This new design definitely adds something to Durant's overall presence as a Pokemon, such as with the wings. I think this evolution would stay Bug Steel type and keep the same 2 primary abilities, being Swarm and Hustle. However, I think we should switch the hidden ability from Truant, which doesn't help Durant whatsoever, and change it to something a little better, such as Sheer Force. Oh, and I guess I have to give this new Pokemon a name too, so please forgive me, this is the first time I've ever tried to name a new Pokemon or a fake Pokemon. So here we go. So to come up with a name for Durant's evolution, I decided to break down Durant's name, and you actually get Durable and Ant. Since Durant's name comes from Durable and Ant, I tried to find another name that would fit that same theme. And the best name that I could come up with was Titant. This, of course, comes from combining the words titanium and ant. So yeah, Titant. It also kind of sounds like Titan too, which is cool. But that's the best I could do. Regardless of how strong of a Pokemon Durant already is, I feel as if it's been left in the ground for a little too long. And I think an evolution would be one of the best ways to dig it back up. Yeah, that was corny as fuck! Next up on the list, we have Skarmory. Now, I've always had a liking for this Pokemon ever since I used it for the first time in Pokemon Emerald. And if you know me, Pokemon Emerald was my first Pokemon game, so it's kind of a nostalgia thing. Now, Skarmory was a really fun Pokemon to use on my team, but there were times where the Pokemon really can't hold its own in battle. I mean, there's no question Skarmory is a great utility Pokemon in competitive play, especially with having access to moves such as Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Defog. But since moves like those aren't too necessary in a regular playthrough of a Pokemon game, not a lot of people choose to use Skarmory on their team. So what would this Skarmory evolution look like? Well, I was able to find a great mock-up for a Skarmory evolution on DeviantArt from user JoshKH92, and I think this just looks great. I would have never thought of Skarmory turning into a knight through evolution, so I thought this was a really cool idea. As I mentioned, Skarmory has never really been the best offensive Pokemon, so it makes sense that its evolution would take up a more defensive look. I don't even want the attack stat of Skarmory's evolution to increase by that much. I just think if we're to increase by a little and then boost the defense and special defense by way more, it would even out that average attack stat. I don't see a reason for Skarmory's evolution to lose the flying and steel type. However, on this particular design, I could see steel and dark working, but there's not really a reason for Skarmory to turn into a dark type. I think a fitting ability for this Pokemon could be battle armor, just considering it has a helmet on. It looks like a knight. Knights wear battle armor. I think it makes sense. Honestly, I've picked my brain for hours trying to think of a name for this Pokemon's evolution, and I can't think of anything. All of the cool names that I think of don't sound like Pokemon at all, so we're just gonna call this dude Greg. So yeah, I hope Skarmory evolves into Greg in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, number 3 on the list is going to be Carnivine. Now, if you watch my channel at all, you know I'm a huge fan of bad Pokemon and continuity errors. Wait. But yeah, most of my favorite Pokemon such as Huntail and Absol aren't really the best in battle, and Carnivine is no exception to this list. I absolutely love Carnivine's design, but I feel this Pokemon's design is going to waste because of its limited move pool and average stats. So what would this Carnivine evolution look like? Well, lucky for us, I found the perfect Carnivine evolution on DeviantArt. And yes, I know I've been saying it wrong this entire video. Please be nice to me in the comments, okay? I'm sorry. From user the Monsieur Panda. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But anyways, this artist was kind enough to actually revamp the original design they drew. So thank you so much, Mr. Panda. Really appreciate it. One of the features of original Carnivine's design that I've always really loved was its face. Its derpy eyes paired with this photogenic smile is honestly the best thing ever. I think the mon just looks so awesome. So I knew I wanted the evolution to capture those same aspects that I like so much from Carnivine's design. And I believe this Fakemon evolution does that perfectly. As for the typing of Carnivine's evolution, I think Pure Grass still fits best, as well as its original ability being Levitate. I don't really see a reason for those to change. Levitate's a great ability, so we'll just keep it that way. Alright, so now for the hard part, time to give this evolution a name. And since Carnivine's name comes from Carnivore and Vine, I of course wanted to try and keep that theme going. The most obvious choice for me right off the bat was Omnivine, of course combining Omnivore and Vine, but this just seemed a little too simple. It also didn't really make much sense to me considering in the real world, Venus flytraps are carnivorous, not omnivores. Omnivorous, whatever. But then I remembered. This is Pokemon, and logic does not apply in any way, shape, or form. I then realized that this could provide a pretty cool background on the Pokemon, or even a cool Pokedex entry. Maybe once Carnivine evolves into Omnivine, it can't get enough nutrients from a normal Carnivine diet, so it has to result to eating other Carnivine. That would make it an Omnivore. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know it's kind of dark and twisted, but I feel like it could work, but there's definitely a reason I don't work at Pokemon. Number 2 on the list is going to be Chatot. Part of the reason I like this Pokemon so much is because music is a huge part of my life. I play drums, guitar, some bass. Some of you guys know I'm in a band called Siren, but it gives me a soft spot for this Pokemon. I love it. And although Chatot might not be the best Pokemon in battle, I can still appreciate its design and concept enough to like the Pokemon. However, it almost just seems wrong that such a unique Pokemon like Chatot has just been on the sidelines for so many years, so I think an evolution would be a great way to bring him back. The design for Chatot's evolution comes from DeviantArt user Malamarvelous, and as soon as I saw this design, I knew I wanted a Chatot evolution. Like I said, I love music, and this evolution actually has a little treble clef on its head. Well, it's kind of a treble clef, not exactly, but I see what they were going for. It keeps one of the best things about Chatot being its vibrant color scheme, and I think this Pokemon just looks amazing. Not to mention he looks like an orchestra conductor, like he's got some sass. The typing for this evolution would stay the same, being normal and flying. Before this evolution, I decided to take a stab at making my own ability. So I proposed that Chatot's evolution would get its own unique ability called Sight Read. Now this ability would work sort of like Trace, in that you could figure out the opposing Pokemon's ability, but you wouldn't necessarily copy it. So it would work as sort of a scout ability that would only work on Switch-In. I don't know, I thought it was pretty interesting and I thought it was a nice nod to the music world. Making up a name for Chatot's evolution was honestly really difficult for me. Since I'm such a huge fan of the Fakemon evolution design, I knew I wanted a good name that didn't really ruin like what this mon had going for it. In other words, I wanted a name that would live up to the design of the Pokemon. The easiest cop-out for sure would just be calling this Pokemon Harold and then moving on. But Skarmory's evolution name was already embarrassing enough, so I decided to actually think of a legitimate name. And the name I came up with is Parror. I decided to take the suffix of Chatot's name, being parrot, and then put it at the front of the name, because it's a parrot, I don't know. And then I went looking for synonyms, because I think that's what anyone would do at this point, I don't know. And out of the options that actually made sense, I thought uproar was probably the best word to complete the name. So there you have it, my name for Chatot's evolution is Parror. Last but not least on the list, coming in the #1 spot is probably the most unique Pokemon ever, being Spinda. By now I'm gonna assume that everyone already knows the story of Spinda and how there's over 4 billion different spot patterns for the Pokemon, not even including the shiny sprites. So just imagine if all 8 billion Spinda could evolve. Okay, before this edition gets way out of hand, I do wanna say something. Now, although I do really like the different spot designs and just the concept behind Spinda, that's not really the main reason why I want this Pokemon to evolve. Other than Spinda having a cool lore or backstory with all the unique patterns, the Pokemon really doesn't do much in battle. Up until Generation 6, Spinda had pretty much no use in competitive battle, but it wasn't until Gen 6 with the addition of the new ability Contrary that Spinda somewhat got a gimmick or a way to use the Pokemon in battle. With this ability, Spinda could use the move Super Power, and instead of losing attack and defense, it could gain a boost in both attack and defense. But honestly, that's pretty much it for this mon. I feel as if this Pokemon is just begging for an evolution at this point, so I knew I had to put it at #1 on the list. So what would this Spinda evolution look like? Well, before I went looking for a Spinda evolution, I knew I wanted the Fakemon to have all the likable parts of Spinda in it. Of course, being its friendly demeanor, its silly looking eyes, and of course, the unique spot patterns, because why not? And I think the Spinda evolution design by Lucky Hyun on DeviantArt is just amazing. The addition of what appears to be a ball or some sort of spherical object really adds something to this Pokemon's design and makes it a lot more interesting. Maybe it could use the ball in battle as some sort of attacking tool or something. I don't know. Also, I think adding more of the spiral design Spinda has on its eyes throughout its design makes it look really cool. As for the typing of its evolution, I was leaning towards not changing the type at all and just leaving it pure normal. But the added spirals on Spinda's evolution really make the Pokemon look hypnotic in a way. So I think normal and psychic type could be a cool and fitting typing for this evolution. As for the ability, I feel like Contrary is already good enough as is, so there's not really a reason to change it. So we'll just keep the normal abilities being Own Tempo, Tangled Feet, and of course the hidden ability, Contrary. And now for the final Fakemon evolution name for this video. Like I said, this was my first time even attempting to try and give fake Pokemon seemingly real Pokemon names. So yeah, if you don't like them, get off my back. It's not really my problem. Okay, so let's break down Spinda's name first. Spinda's name origin, of course, comes from the words spin and panda. So I decided to start brainstorming with panda in the front of the name. And the second I did that, the name for this fake evolution came to me almost immediately. And that name is Pandizzy. Honestly, I just love how the name Pandizzy sounds, and I think it fits the overall vibe of this Pokemon perfectly. The name, of course, comes from the words panda and dizzy, but you don't gotta be a computer science major to figure that out. But yeah, I think Pandizzy would be a perfect name for a Spinda evolution. And there you have it, my top 5 new evolutions for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Honestly, I don't expect any of these Pokemon to receive evolutions in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I thought I'd still showcase some of the older mons that I feel deserve them. I want to give a huge shout out to the amazing artists over on DeviantArt for the designs used throughout this video. Please go check them out, they're all amazingly talented and so much better at drawing than I am. And speaking of talented people, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Aaron for editing this video. Thank you so much, bro, you're a legend. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. It really does let me know if you guys are enjoying this type of content. Also, if you're new here, Don't forget to subscribe. We upload Pokemon content all the time. But yeah, thank you for watching. Catch you guys next time. Peace. Code Supra, 10% off.